Hi, this is Disney Drew. Today I want to talk about Project Stardust, which is a massive renovation project that's going on right now at the Disneyland Resort. Now, a lot of Disney fans have been theorizing that there must have been some sort of coordinated effort that was uniting all of these different projects, but it had never been confirmed by Disney until recently. Last week, Disney published a post on the Disney Parks blog naming Project Stardust and confirming that a lot of the changes that are happening at the Disneyland Resort right now are indeed part of a larger coordinated effort. And now we have some more details about what those renovation projects are. For example, on Main Street, they're making some changes to the curbs. Apparently, people must have been tripping over the curbs, or it was causing congestion of some kind because they're changing the curbs to sloped instead of squared off. And I can actually verify that I've tripped over the curbs of Main Street a lot of times. When it gets really busy on Main Street, sometimes you're not looking down. Sometimes you're looking in front of yourself to make sure that you're not bumping into other people or, getting smashed and jostled around, and you're not really paying attention. So it would have never occurred to me that changing the nature of the curbs would improve traffic flow. But now that I've heard that's what they're doing, it makes perfect sense to me. Some other changes that they're making to Main Street are replacing the horse-drawn trolley tracks. They completely replaced them for the first time ever since the park opened. And in addition to the tracks themselves, they've replaced the path along which the horse-drawn trolley is pulled. So now it's all paved brick. And it looks really pretty. It's really great looking. Some other parts of Project Stardust that you've probably noticed, but maybe didn't know that they were part of this project, include the queue areas for the Matterhorn, It's a Small World, and for Dumbo. Another part of Project Stardust was the addition of the Tropical Hideaway in Adventureland right next to the Enchanted Tiki Room. And some smaller changes include things like planters and the locations of vendor carts. Also, Disney says that they're going to be adding lots more seating, which for me is great because I'm always looking for a comfortable place to sit down. And really, there aren't that many places to sit at Disneyland. And as I get older, not that I'm an old man or anything, but as I get older, I certainly do appreciate a comfortable place to sit more and more. They're also expanding and they say enhancing some of the stroller areas to help get strollers out of the way. And then the crown jewel of the Project Stardust project is Sleeping Beauty Castle, which you'll notice if you've been to Disneyland recently, the entire thing is fenced off and covered with scrims. They're doing a huge refurbishment of Sleeping Beauty Castle, like from the bottom all the way up to the spires. Everything is getting refreshed so that it's going to look its best for Star Wars Galaxy Edge, which is the impetus for all of Project Stardust. When Star Wars Galaxy Edge opens this summer, the crowds that are going to be pouring into the Disneyland Resort are unimaginable to me. But clearly they're completely imaginable to Disney because that's what this is all about. There is going to be such huge amounts of foot traffic, more guests than the park has ever seen in its history. And they're getting everything ready for that. So you'll notice that there are certain parts of the park that are just naturally congested. A good example of that would be Adventureland, where if you've been going to the park for many years, you've probably noticed that over time, Adventureland, especially that area right in front of Bengal Barbecue, kind of across from the Indiana Jones ride and near the Jungle Cruise, just comes to a standstill. And it used to be that all of the diners at Bengal Barbecue would just kind of sit out front and congregate wherever they could find space and eat their food. All of the strollers used to get parked right in the middle there. As a guest, I would just avoid walking through Adventureland completely because it was a crush like all the time. There was no way to get through it when the crowds were a little higher. So I really appreciate that they've done that. And one of the precursors to this larger Project Stardust project was the dining area for Bengal barbecue. So Project Stardust overall is intended to enhance everything at the entire resort, to make it more comfortable for guests, and mainly just to be able to accommodate these huge crowds that everyone is expecting with the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So, are you going to go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? I know I am, and I'm actually kind of nervous about it because I know it's just going to be crazy. It's going to be totally crazy to visit the parks at that time. But I have to admit, I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to check it out. And I'm really excited about all of the refurbishments they're doing resort-wide as well. And I can't wait to see when everything is finished. And I'm also really excited to see how it affects traffic patterns overall, and if it just is going to be impossible to get around there, or if Project Stardust is really going to be a success in the sense that the park will actually be comfortable for guests to move through in these huge numbers that are expected. Totally interesting thing for me. I love learning about the long game that Disney plays at Disney parks, where they make these improvements that don't necessarily seem significant at the time. Like, I remember when the dining area next to Bengal Barbecue opened, I thought to myself, oh, well, that's really nice. There's a place to sit now and eat your skewer of chicken or beef instead of having to eat it on a wall or on top of a trash can, which I would see people do all the time, and I certainly have done myself as well. But I had no idea at the time that was open that was part of this larger project. So it's really cool to see it all come together. Well, I'm about to get started on my newest Disney Drew video. The next one is going to be on Roger Rabbit's cartoon Spin. This is another one that was suggested to me by my son Walter, which I don't know that I necessarily would have chosen it as the next one if he hadn't have brought it up, because it's not like one of the marquee attractions at the park. But if I'm being honest, I really like Roger Rabbit's cartoon Spin, and I love the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit too. So it's going to be a fun project. Between now and when this video comes out, which should be anytime in the next few weeks, if you have suggestions, trivia about Roger Rabbit's cartoon Spin, or anything else, you can check out Instagram, Twitter, or Patreon. All of them are under Disney Drew to you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon.